Good morning and welcome to Virtual Sunday School. As you can see, we are in a little bit of a different location, or more or less. I've learned how to use technology a little bit differently. Last week, we talked a little bit about our faith toolboxes, and all of you were to give some thought about what would you be putting into your faith toolboxes. And that is because this week we're going to be talking about a journey. And so maybe rather than calling it the toolbox, we'll call it the backpack, because you all are students. Most of you have backpacks, and you walk around with backpacks and not toolboxes. But also, when you go on a journey, you take a bag with you, more likely a backpack than walking around with a toolbox. So as we go through today, think about it as your faith backpack and all of the materials that you might have in your faith backpack. And as we read about the journey, think about life, right? Life can sometimes seem like a choose your own adventure, and we can do that now with technology, right? I'm in church, and now I'm in one of my favorite beaches. So this is sort of fun, right? Technology is helping us to go on journeys in different ways and choose our own adventures. So we're going to go ahead and listen to the story about this journey, and it's going to be read by one of our pilgrim friends. It's from Luke 24, and as you listen to the story, I want you to think about a couple of things. Number one, does the journey go as planned, and do the people use the tools in their faith backpack? So here is our story.
Hi there, kids. My name's Xavier Johnson, and today we're going to read Road to Emmaus, Luke 24:13 through 35. Do you think Jesus is really alive? Cleopas kicked a rock on the road. I don't know. His friends shrugged. The two men walked along the road to Emmaus. Somebody joined them as they walked. "What are you talking about?" the stranger asked. Cleopas sighed. "Are you the only person in Jerusalem who doesn't know about Jesus?" "Who?" asked the man. "Jesus of Nazareth, our friend and teacher. He taught about God's love and forgiveness." Cleopas explained. "He healed people. The religion's leaders didn't like him, so Jesus was killed on a cross." But today, Cleopas' friend interrupted, "some woman went to Jesus' tomb and it was empty, and an angel told them Jesus is alive. Is that possible?" The stranger smiled. He taught them what the scriptures said about God's Messiah. The three men walked in together, and they talked about Jesus the whole way. It was dark when they reached Emmaus. "Please stay and eat with us," Cleopas said to the man. At supper, the man blessed the bread and broke it. Suddenly, Cleopas's eyes grew wide. He realized the man was Jesus. He smiled at them. Then he disappeared. "Jesus, where's here?" Cleopas's heart pounded. "He's alive!" his friend shouted. They jumped up from the table and they raced back to Jerusalem. That same night, they couldn't wait to tell the disciples they had seen Jesus.
So what do you think? Did that journey go the way that it was planned? Not exactly. They encountered somebody that they didn't expect. But did they use the tools from their faith backpack? I think we can say yes to that, right? Which tool did they use? Does anybody remember? How about the golden rule, right? They didn't know that the person they encountered was Jesus, but they treated him kindly. And so they treated him the way that they wanted to be treated, which is a really great thing, because that was a choice. They didn't have to invite him in to join their travel party or to have dinner when they arrived in their destination, but they did, and that was a really kind thing to do. And so going back to the idea of choose your own adventure, I'm going to use, if you've been watching any evening talk shows, I'm going to use now some professional grade graphics, because this is kind of what they're using. So here's my graphic of the usual storyline of a choose your own adventure book. Where it starts in one place and you get to make a choice and you can go left or right, and then you make another choice, and then you start having many different storylines going. And so that's the point of the choose your own adventure. But usually as you start getting to the second half of the book, you realize that all of the storylines start to converge, and no matter what you choose, the lines start to come together, and you end up in the same place. And so that's happening to a lot of our plans right now, right? We thought we were choosing our adventure going this way, but now we're actually going this way, but we will still end up in the same place if we're using our faith backpacks and the tools that are in our backpack. So the picture behind me, we call it Bumpa Beach because it's where my dad lives, and it's a place that we were planning to go on a journey to earlier this year. Not going to happen, but so we're letting go of the plan, but continuing to use the things in our faith toolbox, right? Like love, we still love them. And so that has not changed, and we're using technology to stay connected and to see each other and to express that love, which is really cool. Those are the things that are in our faith backpack. So the really important thing about this lesson, though, is that faith doesn't happen from just sitting on the couch and waiting for a miracle, right? We have to seek and build the tools that we're putting into our backpack that we're going to take with us on our journey. We have to make choices along the line of our journey, and we end up in the same place. And so you're probably asking, well, if we all end up in the same place anyway, why do I need my faith backpack and the tools that are in it? So that's probably a good question, but if you think about it, in the story that we heard today, it took place in a hot destination. Imagine that they didn't go with their protective clothing. They wore clothes to protect their skin from the sun. Of course, today we would have sunscreen. What if they went on a 7-mile walk in the middle of the day without that? They'd end up with sunburn. So they might get there, but they're maybe a little bit hurt and not in the greatest condition. So it's the same thing with faith. That is, you build your faith backpack and you can draw upon those tools as you go through the journey and make the choices, and sometimes help make the right choices. You end up in your journey takes you in a way that protects you spiritually as you move along. So I hope that you found this valuable. I hope you're looking for ways to continue to add tools to your faith backpack and to enjoy your journey as you move along through this time and through all of life.